welcome back to the Shift Podcast. I am Marquise Carroll, and I'm here with Guillermo Aquino once again. Welcome, Guillermo. How you doing today?
Great, great. Happy to be here
Great.
today. Yeah.
Awesome. So, today's subject, Guillermo, which is going to be a near and dear topic of yours, which is security for accounting firms. And I know that ManagedTEK does such a great job working with many accounting firms, bringing security to them and helping them begin to sort of have a good security posture as they deal with a lot of people's, sort of tax data and financial data as well. Now, going into today's subject, I want to start off and kind of talk about accountants in general. What compliance regulations are they required to stand by, right? Because millions of individuals have to get their taxes done every year, and they have to, bring, all these forms, 1099s and different forms like that to be able to hand to a, certified professional accountant, and they have to take that information and they have to process everything and get it sent to the government. But there's so many components where they are taking our information and they have to hold it somewhere and they have to process it somehow and all these different things. So let's talk a little bit about compliance and what these CPA firms are responsible for where legal compliance is concerned.
Well, there is a law that was created in 1999 called the GLBA,
Mm-hmm.
Graham Leach Bliley Act. And what this law is referring to is consumer security. You
Mm-hmm.
protecting consumer data and what was happening before, and it's still happening now. When consumers hand over their data to a bank, to a firm that like an accounting firm, tax preparer, whatever you might say, like they are handing over crown jewel data. They're handing rich data that all cyber criminals want.
Right.
When you talk about talk social security numbers, driver's license, I mean, it's the crown jewel of all data. That's
Mm-hmm.
what we call it.
Mm-hmm.
You hack one accounting firm, you're set for life.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of what the motto is out there. I mean, in the dark web. So when you talk about these type of firms, they in the compliancy they're dealing with, the IRS is putting on these regulations for them to have a data security plan in place, and it's all based off of this law from Graham Leach Bliley Act,
Mm-hmm.
basically that was put together in 1999. This act is again to protect consumer data, protect all that information, and make sure you're doing your due diligence as a firm to protect the client's data, because a client doesn't know what you do with their data. They just hand you that information. They
Mm-hmm.
expect you to take care of that data. They don't
Right.
they don't know that you don't have a firewall. They don't know you don't
Mm-hmm.
have virus protection. They don't know all this other stuff. They just trust you as an individual. They trust you as a professional.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, the IRS, FTC are putting, they're putting these requirements on them because too many people are getting hacked. It's happening too often. Even the IRS, they got hacked themselves. And after since then, they said, oh no, we were requiring all these accounting places to put in a security plan. We need to know they're protecting their data. They even also to renew and get your renew your license as a tax preparer, you have to actually check a box saying I have a data security plan in place. You have to check
Wow.
the box. So putting that information in place is so important, and I could go on and on. You woke something up when you said talk a little bit about accounting first. I'm gonna let you go on and finish because I could keep going, but
No, that's good. That's really good. I like how you kind of summarize kind of the story that got us to this point. And when I kind of think about, in a given sort of time frame, all the kind of data touch points that we as a client experience with a CPA as well as a CPA from a client. And, as I mentioned before, end of the year, you get tax documents, whether you were a contractor, whether you worked for a corporation of some sort. You take these docs, whether you do e-file. I think you mentioned that to me before as well about the implications of not having a plan. You could lose your e-file as a CPA. And even with that, I'm taking all these docs to an individual or sending it digitally. First step, I have to know the site that I'm putting that data on is secure, right? and that I know as a CPA that the data is secure, that there's very good platform security behind the scenes in the back end where whoever that vendor is that's holding that data so I can retrieve it is safe. And then in addition to that, as we kind of begin to think about email correspondence, right? Making sure that clients don't send me their social security number, they don't send me their credit card information over email or different things like that. And that we maybe do things over the phone, or maybe have a secure mode of transportation where that data is concerned. And then even kind of thinking about, when we think about compliance, people say compliance, compliance, compliance. Compliance is really, a safety for both parties, right? It's really to say, I am the business and you're the client. The client trusts that you're following the rules. Compliance are just the rules everyone has to follow that's in this profession. And so, kind of knowing that, the GLBA is there, and it kind of helps us and helps accounting firms to be able to comply with this as well. Now, when we kind of think about that, right? And as I was starting to talk about the data touch points, I purposely stopped because now we're going to talk about, the data getting into the hands of the CPA. And there's something that I know you sort of do with new clients that may come on board with ManagedTEK as accounting firms and financial organizations. You put them through a plan, and I know you call it the data security plan, but before they even get there, there's like two or three other steps you put them through to make sure that you have all the necessary information to secure them, full end to end. So talk a little bit about the process and when you're onboarding these CPA firms, what you take them through to make sure they're secure.
Well, when you're dealing when you're dealing with the exchange of data and the CPA firms and all the ways they interact with their clients, you have to go through a risk assessment. A risk assessment, it has two parts that we do. There's an external assessment, and there also is a vendor assessment. And basically, what we're looking for is we want to understand all your vendors. We want to know all your vendors in the cloud. How are you exchanging data with your customer? Are they texting you social security numbers?
Mm-hmm.
Are they, it's very easy. It's
Right.
out of convenience, you give up security. You take a
Mm-hmm.
picture, you send a text to your CPA. That's not very secure. How are they exchanging data? Are they sending you via email? Is there a portal they're accessing? Is it Dropbox? Is it OneDrive? Is it Box? I mean, there's a lot of different ways to exchange data between the CPA and the client. And how is that
Mm-hmm.
being done? We want to look at that, and we want to, with the vendor assessment, we go through the whole life cycle of how taxes are being done and how they exchange the data. Then after that, we do what they call an external assessment. And basically, an external assessment is, can we get into all your accounts? We go on the dark web, we can see all your passwords. Look at all
Mm-hmm.
these passwords. Can we access your computers from my home? Can I
Mm-hmm.
can I get in? So after all that, you see all the holes and everything, and after you come to a conclusion after an assessment of creating a security strategy for that business. And that security strategy is, how am I going to secure this business? They're going to have to maybe change some of their processes. They might have to drop a vendor and add a vendor. They may
Mm-hmm.
it's just it's wide open on what they have to do. I've seen accounting firms do all kinds of different things. I've even seen accounting firm exchange information via Slack, and
Mm-hmm.
which is like crazy to me. But after you find out all that information, you kind of educate them. They're very good at what they do. They do taxes very good. They
Mm-hmm.
handle your accounts very good, but they might not handle your information the right way. So that's kind of
Mm-hmm.
where we come in, and we show them and train them. And also we provide cybersecurity training, as well as
Mm-hmm.
dark web monitoring, endpoint security. A lot of them don't have firewalls. We put that stuff in place. And of course, there's a lot that comes out of those risk assessments. The whole plan is developed out of there, and then putting all that in practice, and then of course training and keeping them up to date on everything else. Because then after a data security plan is put together, they change vendors, they change this, they change
Right.
that, and
Mm-hmm.
now you have to come back and do an annual renewal,
Right.
another type of assessment, and just kind of renew their whole data security plan.
That's good. And I think to for all the CPAs that may be out there watching this, kind of interested and kind of trying to understand why are you putting a firewall in? Why do you have to do this? Why do you have to do that? It's actually in the GLBA that certain things have to be in your environment, right? Like, there's certain things where security has been explicitly sort of called out for compliance sake. And, a lot of the things that ManagedTEK has been able to do, which I thought has been really remarkable, is really make it easy, right? It's not this really long, drawn out, difficult process. It's like, yeah, we know exactly what you need coming into the door. If you don't have that, it's almost like a checklist. Like, you don't have a firewall, we got a firewall for you. You don't have this, we have that for you, right? And making sure that everything is nice and puts that plan together. And I've seen a data security plan, presented from ManagedTEK. It's really, really thorough. I mean, so that in a case of any sort of compromise, any sort of disaster, we know, from a, I guess, from a vendor perspective and from a client perspective, you're covered as a CPA. You know how to get your data back. If you get ransomware, you're protected. If my data somehow gets deleted, you have backups, right? There's certain things that are just there for you. And so I think that's really, really good. Now, what I wanted to kind of mention too is, we've talked a lot about, I kind of left off where I've talked about the data getting to the CPA. And now, if you work with ManagedTEK, you'll have a good plan where things are secured. Now, there is a lot that Guillermo mentioned about process, and I think that's really, really good because, when you bring on a managed service provider, a good one, such as ManagedTEK, I've learned that things have to change in how you do business in the back end. And the reason why I say that is that I now have this data. I have to be conscious of how I'm sharing it with my employees. How I'm sharing it with my colleagues, right? I have to be cautious. Am I just leaving things on my desk and with my door wide open and I leave for the day, right? What am I doing with my client's data? Am I leaving my computer unlocked, right? All these different practices, which are more so business process and policy and different things like that help your business be strong. And, I think there's one more thing I'm going to add, and I want Guillermo to kind of talk a little bit more about what he does for these accounting firms. But there's this cool trophy, and I don't know if you've seen it before, but I thought it was the most awesome thing I've ever seen before. You get a certified trophy. So you go through your process with protect and identify and all these things, recover, all these things that Guillermo has put in place. And he comes to your office with a trophy and smiles for a picture. And you have a ManagedTEK data security plan seal that you can put right there in the front of your business to say, we are secure. We have a company that is helping us be secure. I thought it was the most genius thing in the world. Guillermo and his team are doing really, really great things. And Guillermo, as we're closing out the segment, just give us a little bit more, for those CPAs out there that may not know exactly what you may do for them, or what you could offer them. Talk a little bit about, what those things are.
So, as you mentioned about the trophy, it was something that actual CPA brought to me and said, "Hey, how do I let everybody else know about your security service? You went through all this trouble. I've seen all the work you do. How can I promote that?"
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "You know what? You're right. Let's come up with something." And we came up with the idea. She showed me this tax trophy that she had, so she can deal with certain types of tax issues. She said, "I got a trophy for that. I need a trophy for your security. I need to be able to mention this." She wanted to promote that she was secure. She wanted
Mm,
to tell the world, "Hey, come do business with me because your data is safe." Nobody
mm,
else is out there has safe data. They're just doing all kinds of stuff with your data.
mm-hmm.
And so she thought that was such a big selling point, or to her other consumer clients, to her businesses. Let them know that I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm protecting you. I'm protecting your
Right.
data. So we came up with the idea of a trophy. I sealed off on that. I wrote off on that. It goes to a landing page, and the seal as well goes to a landing page. You can put it on your website. And what that really is saying that you went through the process this long, strenuous process. It's a roadmap to get secure, because
Mm-hmm.
it's a lot to do. It's a lot to change your business environment, and to actually change your operation, because it does affect your operation. How you operate, it does matter when it comes to
Mm-hmm.
security. How you put password policies in place, the type of passwords you use. There's something called, we didn't mention it, but there's something called pretexting, which is one as part of the GLB as well. And pretexting is an accounting firm signing in as you to their bank account. It happens
Mm-hmm.
all the time. People go, hey, you know what? I want you just to sign in and download the bank statements. I'm going to give you my username and password for my bank. Well, that's against the law. That's just completely against the law. And we tell the firms, hey, you can't do that anymore. You cannot. And so I get into some of the operational things. I let you know, hey, you can't do that. That's insecure. And what
Mm-hmm.
happens when something happens? What happens
Right.
when that client is upset and they think you hacked them or you did
Mm-hmm.
something to them because their
Mm-hmm.
password was leaked on the dark web? What happens?
Right.
Now you got an argument between you and your customer. And
Mm-hmm.
that puts you in a very bad situation, where if you had a private login, or they set you up as an accountant on your bank account, that you can log in as yourself. And if
Right.
your account is compromised, it's a whole different situation versus their account being compromised. So
Mm-hmm.
it's very important how you operate. It's very important how you
Mm-hmm.
exchange data. It's very important. And we get into that. And we talk about, like you said, a vendor assessment. We go through that. We go through an external assessment. And it is a long process. And I see why she wanted to feel like she accomplished something. She wanted to
Yeah.
tell the whole world. And that's where that trophy came from, because the
Mm-hmm.
amount of effort that she had to go through to get secure, we want to promote that. We want to promote that and lift that business up and let them know, hey, I stand behind this business. I know they're
Mm-hmm.
doing what's right. I know they're protecting your data the best they know how. They're meeting all compliance. Now, that doesn't mean they'll never get hacked, but what it
Mm-hmm.
means is they went through the process. How many
Mm-hmm.
other businesses are going through the process?
Right.
So,
Right. That was outstanding. And, hopefully this was really good and informative for those who, maybe accountants or CPAs opening up their own firms, or, you may be established and realize there may be some areas of opportunity where you can begin to improve your security. And, you can reach out to ManagedTEK at any given time. Their website is www.managedtek.com. That's TEK.com. And get in touch with Guillermo, talk to him, tell him what's going on, and see if there's any opportunity for you to begin to get more secure, so that you can help your customers with their taxes and their financial needs. So, again, we are so glad to have this podcast and to begin to bring you all this information and to just talk about security and technology and different things like that. But until next time, please like, comment, share this video, subscribe to us as we kind of, promote this sort of podcast and go forward in the future. So until next time, have a great day, evening, morning, wherever you are in the world. See you later.